Imagine a sort of public-owned, democratically controlled investment institution that could invest in good and socially useful businesses like high-speed rail, solar panels, wind turbines, carbon capture technology, fusion technology, any of those things that our capitalist state currently under neoliberalism just doesn't really put a lot of money into, right?
Yeah.
And so People's Asset Manager could really be a huge change in terms of how we could sort of shift resources, and it's growing democracy. It ultimately comes down to growing democracy. In the United States, for example, we have a bicameral legislature, a House and a Senate. One of the ways that you make it more democratic right off the bat is you could abolish the Senate. You could have a unicameral legislature where you have a House, and that's it. But in lieu of that, which would probably be the better way to do it, in the UK they have the House of Lords. You could abolish that too.
Right.
One thing I've advocated for a long time is actually expanding congressional terms. So like in the US, we have 2-year House terms. That's no time to do anything. The first year, you're learning how to do the job. The second year, you're having to campaign to keep it. So it would be better if we had more of a parliamentary system where House terms were 4 and Senate terms were 4. And so they were all elected on the same 4-year cycle, right? Because Senate terms in the US are 6. So what if House and Senate terms are the same length?
Right.
Then you could also have term limits. So after 2 terms,
you're out.
You could be. One thing that we also talk about that's a very big deal is recall. Public officials should be subject to recall at any time, and elected officials should know that that's the case. Now that democratic impulse can be hijacked for nefarious purposes.
It can,
like the recall election against Gavin Newsom in California, or the one against Gray Davis in California, which ultimately led to Arnold Schwarzenegger being elected governor, which was all based on a artificially created blackout by Enron. If you want to learn more about that, I highly recommend people check out the documentary, The Smartest Guys in the Room. It's fantastic. And it goes into all of the nastiness about that whole situation in California. But yeah, so, we need increased worker power. We need increased state power in the sense that we need to democratize the state, with the ultimate goal, I think, of getting rid of it. Right. I mean, and as you said in our pregame, and I think you're right, is that you can't really get rid of the state with the state. And I think that's true. But what you can do is ultimately use the power of democracy to end systems of hierarchy and domination and oppression.